watching classical music from up front. Classical music is a physical activity because the lady is like and there's so much expression in their faces. Like when you listen to it on Spotify, you don't see all the work that goes. You just
No.
get to the final product. Maybe classical musicians should do like DJs do. You know, like now you watch like a boiler room thing where there's a DJ and there's hot girls behind, and they're like, yeah. Okay, ladies and
Love you.
gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the Good Night Podcast. I am your co-host,
up?
Amirez, and this is
I'm Gabriel. What's up?
Hey,
It's Gabriel.
Gabriel.
What's up? What's up, bees?
What's up, buddy? Welcome back. So
Biatch.
you just came
Yeah,
back from the
gone.
country of your favorite supreme leader.
Dude, man, Vienna's nice. It's very different than Berlin. Berlin felt like it felt like there was like a war there or something, some sort of like bombing. I don't know, but no, Vienna was pretty, man. I liked it a lot. It's very different. How would you describe Berlin when we went to Berlin?
Industrialist. It's
Yeah.
I felt there's a lack of art, but I felt it was grandiose. Like that neighborhood with the
Yeah.
humongous streets and giant,
Yeah.
not a palace, but a giant building of governments with statues praising the history. It looked like
Yeah.
it was meant for something bigger, but it didn't get there. I found the people to be friendly, but industrialist. It has an industrialist.
Yeah, I know what you
vibe,
mean.
find.
Yeah, Austria kind of felt like it was left as a city. You know, it was very. I mean, then again, it's not. It's. I thought it was closer to Germany. It's like an 8-hour train ride away from Berlin. I was like, I felt so stupid. I was like, oh, I went to Berlin. How far is it? How far is Berlin? They're like, it's like a 2-hour flight, and I'm like, oh, it's pretty far actually. That was my flight. Was 2 hours from England to Austria. It's from fucking. That's really
crazy,
far.
dude. And to think,
I
dude,
know.
that's
I was like, what?
60,
How?
80 years ago,
Yeah.
huge war. Those
Yeah.
two countries were at war. Berlin and it's just a short train
Yeah.
stop away now. Wow, I'm so happy Europe is not
Yeah,
at war.
not bad.
Wait, it's still at war.
Yeah.
It's still at war. We
Yeah.
forgot.
Hopefully. Yeah. And I kept on looking on the Google Maps, and I'm like, man, like my little blue dot is right next to Ukraine. It's like, whoop, like there's one country dividing us. I think it was like Slovenia or Slovakia or China or I don't know. One of those countries was in front. It was in between us.
Wow.
And
Okay, so tell me
yeah, no-
your favorite thing about Vienna.
Okay. So you know how I like hot dogs, right? And I was in Berlin the whole time being like, where are the hot dogs? Where are the hot? There were no hot dogs in Berlin. I thought, Germany would be the land of the wieners and all.
Yeah.
It isn't. It's the land. Like Berlin was more about the wraps. What are they? Donor wraps, right? They're all about the
Donors.
wraps. Wraps everywhere. Hip. Yeah, donors. All the donors. And dude, you're walking down the road, you'd see like 50 like Austrian like people. Like it'd be like, remember how I was describing to you, like in England, it'd be a pub and there would be like young women taking tequila shots and an old man taking a pint and then a dog. How the same like that, except everyone's standing in these weird wiener stands that are like made out of like, looks like it's like out of the 1950s. It's all like metal, and they're all just eating giant hot dogs and drinking beer, like, and they're all just talking, like yelling at each other, and it's all like it. And there would be like everywhere. You'd see them literally everywhere, and it would be like a picture of a giant hot dog, and it'd be like Wiener stand, we're still standing in Wienerville, and I'm like, oh my god, and I was like, woo, running around just looking at them, and we were with my Claire's friend was like having like this second, like they got married in India, and they're having like a party for people who couldn't make it to
Yeah.
India there. Like it was like not a big huge thing. It was like a few like we went to like a nice like kind of like a restaurant, and then we went to like a pub, and it was like a not a big group. It was maybe like 30 people max. And they're very like they're not like me. They're like we're like trash, you know? Like I'm looking at these wieners and I'm like, "Oh, did you ever go there?" And they're like, "No." Like that cuz she married an Austrian guy. He'd be like,
Yeah.
"No, never." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Never?" He's like, "No." And I'm like, "What about that place?" He's like, "No." And I'm like the more I'm talking, the more I'm like, "Man, like your confidence goes low, even though like like you're typically more confident than most people, but like I just felt like you're just bombing. Your
connecting.
personality was bombing though. Yeah, and then like I'm just like, oh, I suck. Like I'm just all you
should-
see something
next
different.
time-
You're like, this is so weird. Like
Gabe, next time do some
Yeah.
crowd work. So what do you do for a living? How long have you guys been together?
I know, but then he's like I work for a chemical plastics machine company. I'm like, I don't care. Like I.
Yeah,
What-
then you get some laughs.
And yeah. No, I
question.
don't know. I did get some laughs, but it was just like changing the subject to something else, you know.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, not everyone is supposed to be. That's what I'm realizing now because I'm working also on new jokes. So I'm going on stage with material that, how can I say this, like edgier or maybe it's different. And so, yeah, I did
Yeah.
comedy this weekend. While you were in Austria, I did a lot of comedy. So Friday, I did like a big theater
Nice.
in Saint Lazare. And it's
Wow.
funny. I was watching my recording because I went bullet and I can feel they were a little tense. But I'm watching the recording and there's pockets of big laughters and other people going, oh, oh, oh. So listen, I think I'm understanding right now that if you get 60% of the crowd, you're doing great. You know? So out of the 10 people that you were
Yeah.
hanging out with, if 6 of them were like, hey,
No.
funny.
No, this is just the one guy. It was me
Ah.
walking with one guy in the couple. It was just that one guy. Everybody else was super cool. Everyone else, most of them were Indian. They're all like smoking and drinking. They're like, oh, shalalala. They're all like. Then there was like the one Austrian guy that's like very serious, and he wears glasses, and he's like, no, we eat leaves, or like they were like vegetarians, I think. And I was like, oh, jeez. And then the rest are all cool and fun. But it was just when we were walking like around, I just felt like, you feel uncultured around a person. Like I really felt like I was like I'm like
he
a child
lacked
pointing at a
empathy.
big hot dog, being like, "Oh, look." Yes,
Maybe- I think-
he
I
does.
think he
lack
just doesn't
empathy.
like
He
you.
does.
maybe he doesn't like
No,
you.
no, I don't think so. No, I don't think he. And he has no reason to, because we don't know him at all. Like, so Claire was good friends with that girl, and we're like, oh, you should like. And Claire invited her to our wedding, and he's like, you could bring your boyfriend or whatever, or husband now. And he said like he doesn't want to go because he doesn't believe in flying for
Yeah,
less than
yeah, I
a week
remember,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Now you know 3 Austrians, okay? You know that guy, you know
Yeah.
Arnold, and you know
Yeah, no Hitler. Yeah,
that guy.
that
That guy.
I call him heroin now.
Yeah.
Oh, Kramer. Wasn't his name Kramer?
Kramer, yeah. Yeah. So we have Kramer,
Kramer.
that guy, and Arnold.
Kramer.
1 out of 3.
Yeah.
1 out of 3. I think you're doing better
Yeah.
than with most Quebecers. So
I know.
you
And,
like more Austrians than you
and-
like
and,
Quebecers. So you're doing good.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, he was even like, I was telling him, like, he says he came to Montreal and he said he hated it, and he went to Toronto and he hated it. I'm like, okay. He's like, and then I was like, well, there's cool
Was he
places in
complaining
Canada,
that there
like,
was
if
a
you
lot
go
of
to-
Jews in Montreal? Like, there's too many Jews in Montreal. I don't like it.
I'm pretty sure he didn't leave the old port because he said it just looked like Europe, and I'm like, Montreal doesn't look like Europe at all. What are you talking about?
Yeah, just the old
I don't think he
port
left the
looks
old
kind of
port.
like Europe, yeah. It's very
Yeah,
hard
it's
to
just-
impress Europeans with
Yeah.
the old port. They're like, yeah, I grew up in this church. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
no.
understand.
Yeah, Yeah.
When my British ex-girlfriend came to Montreal, I'm like, ooh, let me take you to the old port. She's like, yeah, that looks like my neighborhood. Like I grew up in a neighborhood that looks like this. This is not impressive at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But
Yeah.
if you want to
And
blow the mind of like
yeah.
British people, take them to. We went to Charlevoix. So once she saw the
Oh,
vastness of
yes.
Quebec and the rolling hills and she's like, "Oh wow,
It's
now
nice.
okay, Canada, wow, Quebec, what a beautiful nature." You know, they don't have that space.
Yeah.
And then she
Well,
saw
then I
that
was telling him about that. He's like, yeah.
cack. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. We
Yeah.
keep
No,
stepping on each other. Listen, we keep stepping on each other. Sorry. All right.
it's okay. But then he was like, "Oh, we have Austria and Germany. There's a lot of mountains there." I'm like, "Fair enough, whatever." And then I was like, "Oh, you should go." I said you should go to Florida. I don't know why. I said you should go to Florida. Florida's cool. You know, if you like the beach and shit, it's nice. There's a lot of Cubans. And he says he hates the Cubans in Florida because they left a communist country and then became very capitalist. And I'm like what the hell you like that's the most like generalization of a whole Hispanic community I've ever So that's why he hates Florida. Another spot. So I shot a few videos. I did like the one of the I shot at the oldest wiener stand. And then I shot. She suggested that we go to this place called Yippenplatz, which is like in this very immigrant neighborhood, like super, and they have like a really old like Arabic market. It's like you go in and it's a totally different world. You get off the train and it's just like for like a kilometer, it's just like all just Iranians and whatever, all the and it's all them. There's like chickens and then there's like selling cheese and then there's like everyone had that meat sword and I was like, oh my god, and I got the sickest sandwich ever from this guy. He didn't speak English, German, nothing. He only spoke he only spoke whatever Arabic language he did, and he was a super fat old guy, and he's just like, and then I pointed at the meat. He's like, okay, and then like there was he had a gigantic evil eye behind him. It was like this big evil eye, and I pointed at it, and then I pointed at my eye, and he was like, yes, yes, yeah. He pointed. He was really into that. I think he gave me extra meat because I pointed at the eye, and then it was so good. It was like one of the best. I don't even know what it was. It was just chicken. It was some sort of chicken with. It was so fresh and so good. It was so good. Then we walked around. There's like a huge. Every like big city has like a giant river that goes through it, right? Like London and then like Montreal, New York has like whatever, So they have this long canal that like goes all around the city. It's so long, and I for some reason I thought Vienna was a small city. It was like giant. It's like bigger than Montreal. I had no idea. I thought it was gonna be like a little, a little plutz, like crazy. Yeah, it was all graffiti everywhere. I don't know. I have pictures. I'll probably put pictures here. If you
I have a
watch the
question.
episode back, you can see the pictures.
Awesome. Please do. Yeah. I have a question. So you said it's a city known for its schnitzels. Like here in Montreal, all the hot dogs taste the same because it's a hot dog. So
Yeah.
do all the
Yeah.
schnitzels taste the same?
No. And schnitzel's chicken, by the way. This is a wiener.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wiener. Yes, yes, yes. Do all the wieners taste the same?
I don't know. Ask your mom. All right.
Oh! She only eats halal. Halal wiener. She's been single, ladies and gentlemen. If you wanna go on a date with my mom, please let me know if you have a nice halal wiener. Black,
But
preferably.
no. So they yeah. So a lot of them there's many different types. Like you could go in there, they have like so many different types of sausages. And I'm like, it's such a big sell. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'll have the most popular one, and they have one. The most popular one is it's stuffed with cheese, and it's insane. And the hot dog bun isn't like a hot dog bun. It's like it's like kind of like a baguette that they have a machine and they hollow it out, and then they shove the hot dog in there, and they pour like ketchup and mustard if you want inside, almost
Question.
like a yeah.
How do you get ketchup all the way to the bottom?
I don't know. I think maybe they pour it before they put the hot dog, and then they put the hot dog in, and then they put it some more. Yeah, and then
Oh, and does every bite has all the relish, mustard, ketchup, condiments?
think it tastes so good that I didn't really want any condiments. The only one I put is only a tiny bit of mustard. It just a tiny bit, and it was so good. And I posted a story and I tagged Vienna, and now all these like wiener stands are messaging me being like, "Come back to Vienna. I'll make you a good sausage." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll come back." I don't know if I'm gonna come back soon. Maybe in the summertime, but
Yeah, man.
But,
Go on a little
they have like a
sausage tour.
oh
Dude,
oh,
you are in
it was
sausage
so
country,
fun.
man.
yeah, it's Wienerville, and
it's
then
It's funny. So you travel for sausage, and I travel
Yeah.
for shisha. Like that's my vice. Like I went to so many
Yeah.
countries just so I can smoke a shisha in that country and I get to taste it. Like every country I go to, I
that's
have to try the
interesting.
shisha.
Yeah. I didn't know that. So because Berlin had barely any hot dogs, I just assumed there was going to be wraps there too, you know, because it's kind of like German, but it was like not that many wraps. It was so I pleasantly surprised.
Donors, Gabe. Donors,
What other
Gabriel.
food?
Use the name. Donors. It's donors, Gabe. Stop calling them wraps. Come on. It's donors. Come on. Respect
Donors,
the
the
Turkish
bread or the meat?
history. I don't know. I think it's the thing. It's a donor. I order a donor.
Okay.
It's a donor.
Okay.
Yeah, don't call them
Well,
wraps.
they didn't really have donors. They
Thank
didn't have
you.
donors in Austria. They had wraps in Austria. I don't think I had any. I don't see any donors. I think donors are a very German Berlin thing.
Maybe. Did they say shish tawuk or shawarma anywhere?
No.
Or
it was,
kebab?
It all just said kebab. Yeah,
Okay, kebab. Okay. Okay, so it's probably
Yeah, kebab.
and you couldn't detect if they were Turkish or Arabic or like Moroccan or anything like that.
There were a lot of like words. I would see Lebanischen Schnippel and then Iranian Schnippel, and like like so it was a mix of and
I didn't know.
man, it's
I
a
didn't
hard
know
language.
Austria. I didn't know Austria would have so many immigrants. That's good to know. We're taking over, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. But then there was like the rich side of Austria. We walked through. It was like just all these crazy, huge, like beautiful churches and like buildings, and it seemed like really rich. Like you're walking around, you're
Yeah.
like, God, you'd see like the most fanciest restaurants. I'm like, whew. And then like it was also very European. It was more European than Berlin, I'd say, because there was a lot of like it was very not international. It was very like very young, and everyone's sitting on the terraces, everyone's smoking, and it felt like a lot like Paris. You remember like Paris had a lot of like huge terraces on the street, and everyone's chilling outside. It was a lot like that. It was nice, and then chilling. And but the beer's the same though.
Question.
I find the beer in Austria and Germany sucks.
Question: would you live there?
Man, you know what? I keep on fantasizing like I'd live in one country for 1 month and another city for another month. That's like I would do that. I don't know if I could live there. I don't know. Could I live there? It had everything you need. Even has a comedy scene, and it's so accessible to all around the world. Like who the hell knows? Like,
Oh,
but
I
I
think
don't know
I
if
know
I
a
could
comedian
live
there.
I don't think I could live anywhere. Yeah.
I think I know a comedian. So yeah, would you live like Berlin? I see totally. I would definitely live in Berlin for like 6 months and
Yeah.
just do comedy and just enjoy life and eat donors and smoke shisha every day. 100% I would live in Berlin. London,
Yeah.
100% I would live. But would you live in Austria in Vienna?
No, but I could see myself living in Berlin too. Actually, Berlin is more like
So
I
beautiful.
think it's more
so cool.
the comedy scene is probably a lot bigger and better, and
Yeah.
Austria felt very very Germany, like very. You know how in when we were in Berlin, we barely ran into anyone who was German half the time. It was mostly like just random people from all around the world.
That's not
you don't-
true.
Well, yeah, dude. Half the time you'd run into like the guy who ran the comedy shows from Russia, then the other guy's from like Albania, and this guy's from there, and then everybody was either Austrian or German. Like everyone was like it would.
On the metro, on the metro or like on the, I would see Germans all the time. Well, they look German. They were white. I'd say that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Well, you have to remember.
It felt
I don't
more
think
white.
Yeah. Vienna doesn't hit me like a metropolis like Berlin. Berlin is a metropolis. You know, people immigrate to Berlin to work there, to live there, to build a family there. No one goes like, I'll go to Vienna and build my career. Like, what is
No,
New York?
it's
like
huge. It's
finance.
Dude, Vienna's huge. Vienna's
Yeah,
really
bigger-
big. Vienna's really big. I was
bigger
surprised
than-
because you hear the name Vienna. You hear the name
Yeah.
Vienna and you're like, oh, it's Mozart and there's maybe one bridge. It's like
Yeah.
huge. It was like every building was a skyscraper. I'm like, where the hell am I? Toronto? Like,
Really?
It felt like a
Okay.
European. Yeah, I was shocked. I was
Oh.
like this city, and there was like giant like huge parks, and then like a huge like all these like they had their financial district was huge. We're walking like, what the hell? Like it was so unassuming, the city, like you wouldn't believe. And then the metro's giant. They have like the underground and the overground and all these trams and buses and all
They
this
have a
shit everywhere.
metro?
We're just jumping up and down like, yeah, a really huge. It was like
Wow.
crazy. You know, like those Chicago metros where it goes underground then overground and goes like it's like that.
Is it clean? Is it a clean city or is it a dirty city?
Really clean. Like it was no litter anywhere. Nothing. It was like
Really?
pristine almost.
I heard
Yeah.
it's super expensive.
Dude, it's way cheaper than England. England is so expensive. Like if you go for I'm just talking about the beer. The beer in England is expensive. you grab a beer there, it's like €3, and in England it's like £6. You're like, God damn. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So,
I don't
so would
know.
you recommend people to visit Vienna?
100%. I'm going back in the summer. The weather was amazing. It was beautiful. There's a lot of greenery. Where the hell did we? Oh, yeah, it was 20 degrees. I haven't seen 20 degrees. Crazy. I was wearing like no jacket, just walking around with sunglasses. It's in heaven. And then we went to this pub at night for this for her wedding, and we met like this one of her friends is like this British couple, and they both live in Germany, and they speak perfect German, and they're from England though, and they were like both like post, like one of them is like he's the one level under being a professor, and the other one works for like some big company, but apparently they're like in their 30s, but apparently like they work really hard during the week, and then they party like Friday night, Saturday night, and then recover on Sunday. So they party like 48 hours straight, pretty much. They like sleep for 6 hours, and they go back to tons of drugs, tons of partying, drinking, craziness. And I was like, dude, I couldn't keep up. I left the party early. I'm such a lightweight, man. I think I had like 3 beers and 2 wines, and I was like, I'm gonna puke. Like I couldn't. I don't know how everyone else was drinking. I was like dying. Something happened. I don't know what's happening to me, man. I'm not the guy man I used to be.
You're not Waldo Massey anymore.
Nah.
You're fiance O'Massey. You're becoming an
Well,
adult.
Claire stayed out till 3 a.m. I had to go to bed. I was so tired. I was like exhausted. I left out like midnight.
Well, she used to party when she was younger, right? She told me she loved clubbing and dancing when she was like a teenager.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's kind of like, like a reminiscent of her old life. You're
Yeah.
like, let's go dance.
Yeah, I know. It's fun though.
Yeah.
Everybody
good.
smokes
This-
too.
yeah.
Everyone's just smoking
Yeah?
nonstop. Yeah.
Yeah? Aren't
Yeah.
these cigarettes super expensive in Europe?
They said no because they have vending machines. I saw it was like $4.90 apparently for a pack.
Well, that's pretty good. All right.
You could,
Oh,
you
maybe,
could buy
yeah.
them on the
Maybe-
street, just like a
People like, okay, we're not going to smoke in England, but when we're on vacation, we'll pop a cigarette or two. Let's go. Let's have fun. Let's go. That's nice.
yeah.
That's cool, man. That's
That's good.
you had a fun week.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go Poland next. Oh, I keep on thinking about
When?
Poland. I saw this movie
Yeah.
called A Real Pain.
Schindler's List. Sorry. Okay. A real what?
Oh, Oh, here's a funny joke. So, we were going up to because we were going to the government office so they can get legally married, right? And on the elevator, on the lift, it showed like the brand name of the lift. Usually, you sometimes they say like the company name or whatever, and it was Schindler. And I said, "Oh, Schindler's Lift," and everyone was
That's
like,
high five, bro. I've had that joke, and I wanted to make a post about it, and I never did. It's hilarious. Schindler's List, baby. That's right. What comes up must
I
come
was like
down.
Schindler's List, but and then I kept on like thinking like, wait, I'm in Austria. I don't know if this.
Maybe that's why the guy. Did you remind him of his dark past of the people of his country who were not great? Like, hey, are you related to
funny.
Hitler? Did you keep asking him like, hey, what's your last name? Is it Hitler? Do you have an Adolf? Do you have a
Is it
grandpa called
Hitler?
Adolf? Yeah.
I bet it would be way worse if I brought up Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'd be like, listen, I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's amazing. He'd probably think I'm the biggest ever. He'd be like, you're an idiot. You like hot
Listen,
dogs
man.
and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like,
You probably like for him you're like, oh, look at this typical North American. He wants to eat hot
Yeah.
dogs and look at men with big muscles. Ugh. He's probably disgusted by what you represent. This North American attitude of
100%.
just consume
Yeah.
and get big and like, oh, I can't believe he's probably pissed that you traveled for his wedding because he's against traveling for short periods of time. He's like, this disgusting pig of North American pig.
Yeah.
All he wants is consume and he hates you. He hates you. If he's watching this,
100%.
you should hate him.
Yeah, I totally. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. All the other Europeans were fun. But yeah. No, I had a great time. It was great. I'm very happy. They drink this liquor. This is the weirdest liquor. It was. I wish I could remember the name. It's like everything there is like Flugelugelugen. It was like this liquor called like Flugelnhugen, and it was like a high percentage. It was, I think like 30%, but you drank it and it tasted like some sort of menthol with no bite. And so I was just so maybe that's why I was wasted, because apparently they love it. They go crazy for this liquor, and I
Menthol?
didn't really like
Ugh.
it. I was like, ugh. It was like It was also almost like toothpaste, you know. And I was
Yeah.
drinking it, and I was like, "What the hell? Like, this thing is stupid." And I thought it was like, "Oh, it was like 10%." I thought it was like, those liqueurs. I drank two, like almost like half the bottle. I didn't even realize it because it was like, I'm sipping on it because it's like, it tastes like, and it's the only thing we had to drink because we're walking from a restaurant to the pub, and it's legal to drink on the street. And so maybe that's why I went home early. I just drank a whole bottle of Leflugen. I felt like shit.
I think they created it so that when you vomit on the street, it smells like toothpaste.
Yeah.
You're like the whole
Yeah.
the
And they
whole
kept on
city,
making
like,
the joke.
My God,
Yeah.
yeah. Everybody brushes their teeth and then spits on the floor. What a wonderful country. Colgate, Colgate, schlucken, schlacken, schlucken.
Yeah, Colgate.
I had a fun week too,
Yeah.
man. I
Yeah.
did a couple of cool things. I went bowling. I went bowling.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I went on a date. We went bowling, like a typical
Wow.
North American date. So it was Saturday, so the place was packed. Did you know people are bowling again now? It's back. Place was
Weird.
packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there would be like 3 people.
Yeah.
No, 100, 200 people bowling, and we got the lane they gave us was
Whoa.
right next to a dad with his 3 teenage kids, and he had like single dad energy. He's like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm the cool dad. And man, I forgot how teenagers are just, and they're not self-aware of their environment. They're not self-aware of who others are. So I'm with a girl, and the teenagers are all brothers, so they're all talking to each other before they roll the ball. and you could tell there was the youngest one. He was like maybe 15, and he has an oldest brother. So his oldest brother would look at him like, "This ball is Brianna, and look what I'm doing to Brianna." And he would put his finger in the ball,
Oh,
and the guy's like, "Shut up! Stop talking about Brianna. Yeah, I'm fingering her. Look at her. Oh, she likes it." And my dad, she's like, "Ugh." I'm like, "Hey, listen, they're teenager. What do you?" And the dad, what
I
are you
used
gonna
to
do?
do
You have
that
three
too, yeah.
teenage boys. The dad just is like, "Hey,"
Yeah.
the dad is like playing along, like they're shoving each other. It was, it was beautiful because it was like brotherly love. They all love each other, but it was just funny to see anger. I haven't seen teenage anger in so long. It's very adorable.
yeah. It's too bad. Like it's kind of annoying how like every uh like stage of a child's life is just annoying. Like maybe other than like maybe I guess babies are annoying because they cry and they don't sleep, but then
Yeah.
then they are stupid and they run around and then they're like annoying or they get moody and then they get like they're teenager and they go through puberty and it's just like annoying and then like they're only cool when you're on your deathbed and they're like I love you father and I'm like I love you son. that's the that's the only
Well, I
time.
hope you're wrong, bro. I truly hope you're wrong. I hope that as a parent, you're like, "Oh, my kids are so annoying. I hate them. They talk and they have opinions. Ugh." I don't think so. I think you're wrong. I think, yeah, I
Yeah.
think children, because I teach, I spend time with children, and they have annoying times, but they're fun. They're, you know,
Yeah. I
they'll
bet,
share
yeah.
stories with you that are nice. But everything is annoying.
Yeah.
Your fiance is I'm pretty sure is annoying to you sometimes. It's just
Yeah.
you love her.
Yeah.
So imagine
Like
something that you made.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But like, what's it called? Claire's friends came over a couple of weeks ago for like they came over to because they had a kid since last time we were here, and the kid's like I don't even know how old he is. Maybe like 9 years old or 1 years old or something. And he was like a nice kid. He wasn't like super. Didn't really misbehave, but like at one point he was getting kind of like you could tell he was getting bored. So like they put on like Netflix on our TV and we watching like this kids show called like Miss Rachel. And like after like it was on Netflix first of all, but it was the most low budget show. Like it was it's on Netflix and you think it would be it's on Netflix, maybe it's like Sesame Street has like a high budget and it's all like cool, but like this was like a woman on a green screen and like a stock footage of a lobster going like like and she's like it's a lobster, yeah, and I'm like get some like get some editing, get some production here, get like some like the audio. The actors were terrible. It looks like they just picked out like their crackhead friends. They look they're all like high. They were wearing their street clothes. Like one guy had like a snowboarding T-shirt. It had like it was like whatever cool. So
It's his
I
own
couldn't
clothes.
handle. I was like okay, and yeah, and I was like let's put on SpongeBob, and he's like he's too young for SpongeBob, and I'm like I'm not too old for SpongeBob, so he's not too young for SpongeBob.
Gabe, listen,
Yeah.
you're gonna have kids soon, so take it as practice. Like, all right, so I'll need to drink when I watch this with my kid. I'll need to have a bottle of Colgate Schliesselschlaschen so that my kid doesn't know that I'm drunk. Like, ooh, Dad brushes his teeth so much. You sneak in the bathroom, glug, 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 and then you come out. Sorry, kids, I was just brushing my teeth.
Oh man, I know. What if like I just like make my kid think that like The Sopranos is a kid show? Like he doesn't know. Like it's a kid show. It's like hey, he's Barney the dinosaur is a big fat Italian guy. He's pretty big.
This is how the dinosaur died.
He's got the
He
same
got
body.
whacked.
Yeah.
Like they. Yeah, the meteorite was called James Gandolfini, and then Tony Soprano, and he was like. And this is how the dinosaurs, stopped existing. They got buried. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, roar. Speaking of Netflix, so again, I went to a girl's place to Netflix and chill, and she's like, "Oh, come,
Mm-hmm.
let's watch some Netflix." I'm like, "Okay," and she put up Andrew Schultz new special. Like, yeah, I don't know if you heard.
Was it
Andrew
good?
Schultz has a new special. So we're in the
No, I
sofa,
didn't
we're
know.
watching, and it's just funny. Like, she knows I'm a comedian. It's just funny to watch with a girl someone do your job better.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, all right. Like, I'm watching, I'm like, all right, that's a good bit. You know, when you're a comedian and you watch stand up, you watch it differently from
Yeah.
civilians. So, but I'm just watching it, and she's laughing. I'm like, all right, fine. Yeah, okay, he's better than me. My ego was bruised. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yes. There's no other job. There's no other job that exists where you're like, hey, come, let's go watch someone do your job better and a bigger stage.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember. Yeah, I remember I went on a date with a girl, and then we were watching. She's like, "Oh, let's go watch like a stand-up show, or like on Netflix, whatever." And cause of that, I still hate John Mulaney. Like how I just hated. I was like, oh, he's so annoying because he's all like, he was so cute, and I was all like,
Yeah.
not as cute as him, and he's all like, he was such a good performer, and I was just like hated him so much. He was like so, and I'm like, man, I'm nothing like him. I'm like so stupid, and and he's all like smart, and I don't know what he's talking about half the time. I'm like, man, I am so stupid.
Did she say,
All
"Oh,
that
you're
smart
funnier than
jokes.
him"? Did she say that to you? Did she try to make you feel better?
No, no, it was like our first. It was like a first date, I think. Like, and it was just that was it. Like, or something like that was the end of that.
I On
Yeah,
Sunday, I don't know if you know this, but Montreal has really cool free activities sometimes. You just have to find them. On
yeah.
Sunday,
Hmm.
I went to a free classical concert, classical music concert.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it was in a beautiful room. We got really good seat and it was free. Dude, it was such a the acoustics of the room were so nice. I could hear the violinist or the pianist like inhale
Wow.
as they're because they have to breathe, they have to control their breath.
Whoa.
Well, it was such a fun experience. It was my first time watching classical music from up front, and you could see because I listen to
Hmm.
classical music literally every day. Every day I listen to about half an hour of classical music. I find it's a
Okay.
great music to listen to think to,
Okay.
and now I get
Cool.
to watch it, and you forget first of all, classical music is a physical activity because the lady is like,
Hmm.
and there's so much expression in their faces. They're like,
Whoa.
just a lot of work to get that perfect sound because when you listen to it on Spotify, you don't see all the
No.
work that goes. You just
No.
get to the final product.
No.
It was a
You think
really
it's like
fun
a
experience.
DJ, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like the DJ,
And
he's
then
just like,
yeah,
so you
yeah,
just,
maybe classical musicians should do like DJs do. You know, like now you watch like a boiler room thing where there's a DJ and there's hot girls behind and they're like, yeah, yeah. Maybe classical musicians they should like do, and there's like hot girls with their like with the hot perky boobs out, yeah, just dancing. That would be the evolution of classical music. I'm just saying, make it happen.
it would be, if it kept going, like, I bet, because you know how, like, musicians now and singers, they're all on social media and they're all trying to break
Yeah,
into being entertaining. And so they're not just like showing off their music. Like they're also trying to be funny and make funny
yeah.
sketches and be like silly and show off the personality. But it's weird. And then you see him like, oh, what is this guy? Is this guy a comedian? And then you see him, he's like, his whole thing is he sings like all these romance songs. You're like, how do you go from like being a funny guy to like, baby, my heart, man? And you're like, how is this? So you get the fans. They're like, he's funny, and then they're like, oh, he's a singer. Like, how do you then transition to that? It's crazy. Like, yeah.
Comedy now, like we sell comedy, right? That's what we do. We're comedians, and that's the end product.
Hmm.
Now, comedy is being used to sell musicians, to sell OnlyFans.
Yeah.
You'll see a hot girl, she's just being slightly funny with their sexy body, and you're like, oh, she's
Uh-huh.
just promoting her OnlyFans. So like comedy now is a vehicle to sell everything else. That's that's how popular comedy is right now. So, anyways,
Crazy.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm at the concert. First of all, we walk in, and I think everybody was old. Everybody was like 80 years old, was on their deathbed. Everybody in the audience, everyone's old. There was like maybe 6 children it's either 6 children who are maybe 9 years old who are there because maybe the violinist is their teacher or something, or
Oh, okay. Yeah.
80-year-old people sitting there, and they tell you before you walk in, like, please don't use your phone. This is a no phone. I'm like, none of these people have cell phones. What are you talking about? Everybody is 85 years old.
He's-
They have a landline.
They're like,
No one's bringing their phone.
I left my gramophone. My gramophone is in my like they got the
Yeah. And I don't know for you, but the more I do comedy, the more I feel like, oh, I don't belong in this very fancy schmancy environment. I just feel I'm
100%.
I'm like a loose cannon. I'm like a street dog, just like
Yeah.
an alley cat that's
Yeah.
not made to be. So the concert finishes, and I'm like, woo! Woo! And the girl I'm with, she's like, bro, no, my ears. This is a classical music. Like, you don't go. Yeah, you rocked it, bro. Embarrassing. I'm not made to be in public anymore.
No, that's funny. Yeah. No, you don't. Yeah, I don't know. Like even just everyday vocabulary, in the street. Like you talk to somebody, you don't know who he is. You just the way. I go like, oh, there's a lot of shit there. And everyone's like, whoa. You don't need to say. Just be like, there was a guy and he was walking. I'm like, guy was walking to the goddamn store.
You
Yeah.
totally forget that there's like people have jobs, and it just because everyone when people are drunk, they all talk like us. A normal
Yeah.
conversation between comedians is a drunk conversations between normal people. No filter. We say whatever we want. We talk about ass and pussy and blah, blah, blah. Like as a joke.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do like let's say I arrive to a club and I'll see a comedian I know, and as a joke I'll do the salute as a joke.
Yeah.
And then the comedians will see this like haha. But once I did it in front of a normal person, and there was anger on his face. They're like, what the I'm like, "Whew, okay, all right, I can't hang out with you anymore. You don't get my sense of humor. And I'm doing
No.
the right
Yeah,
thing. I
that's why
still
you-
believe I'm doing the right thing because I'm stealing it from the Nazis. Like, no, I take it. It's not yours anymore. I'm gonna use it to promote love. You guys use it to promote hate. I'm culturally appropriating the Nazi salute and making it about being funny and stupid. I'm gonna be stupid. I'm gonna do stupid things for entertainment. And I'm gonna steal your culture to do that. That's
But
what
shouldn't
comedy is.
Jews be yelling "Hi Hitler" in this because it's like their N-word or whatever? You know how
Well,
they.
that's I used to have a joke about this where I said Jews should culturally appropriate the Nazi salute. Take it. What are they gonna do? Are you gonna piss off the Nazis? Whoa, screw them. They lost the war.
Screw
They
them.
lost the war. Dude, if you ever see like a guy and he's clearly a Nazi, like, you lost the war. You lost the war. The Jews and the Western world won. You lost. We won. You were wrong. We were right. Get out of here. Get out of here. What is this? Showing symbol of your failure? The what do they call it? It's a group of losers. You lost. You are losers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all dead now.
Why
Hopefully.
are you proud of
Can I
your
ju- I just
losery
wanna check-
past? So I don't know. No, you probably didn't watch this because you're all the way in the world. So Mike Myers was on SNL, and he did something political. He wore a T-shirt that says "Canada is not for sale," and I saw this. I'm like, oh, You know what this reminds me of? Remember when there were floods in New Orleans or whatever, and Kanye West and Mike Myers were trying to get money on TV, and Kanye West was like, George Bush doesn't care about black people. Mike
Yeah,
Myers
I remember that.
Mike Myers, he pulled an old Kanye. He's like, oh, I'm gonna do what Kanye did. I'm gonna be political on TV.
That's
Old
cool.
Kanye,
That's
man.
pretty
He
cool.
pulled an old Kanye. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's good. He learned
Yeah, back when
the good things from Kanye. There's a couple of good things you can learn from Kanye. A lot of bad things, but a couple of good things. One of them, it's okay to be political and say, George Bush doesn't like black people, and you learn that from him.
But now, like, Kanye is so rich. If he was as rich as he was back then, he probably could just rebuild New Orleans with all his money. Like, he just would have just
maybe,
like,
probably,
I'll rebuild it in Kanyeville, and it's just like, building has his head on it. It's just all
It's
rebuilt. Gold
Yayville.
streets.
Excuse me,
Yayville.
Gabriel. Yay. It's Yay. What would you
Yay.
change your name to?
Hippie.
That's Ga? It's Ga now. My name is Ga.
Gay.
Instead of Gabriel.
It,
Gay?
it would be gay.
Gay.
Yeah.
Or Riel. Riel, because it's Kanye. Nye, so it's the last. So it's, it would be Riel. Riel and
Riel's not
Myrrh.
bad. It's cute.
Riel, yeah. Sounds like I think there was a cult leader called Riel. Or Rael. Yeah, Rael. You went to visit
Rael.
their compound. Remember when you were in Quebec
Yeah.
and you went up there? Yeah, that was their compound. Rael was their leader.
Oh, weird. Weird.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I remember from Berlin. Remember, like, the toilets in Berlin? Remember, like, how, like, there was... It wasn't... So, in North America, it's just, like, a hole, right? You just shit in the water. But in Berlin, the toilets had, like... It was, like, a balcony and then the hole.
Yeah. I remember now. Yeah.
Oh, so this is so gross. So in our Airbnb, it was like a really cool Airbnb because it felt like you're living in the 1940s. It was like huge door, and you walk in, everything's stone. You're going up, and it's like woo. And you look out on the window, and it's like you see like a grandma walking her dog and a man drinking wine, and you're like, this is cool. And then you go take a shit, and like it's like. Dude, I took the biggest. It was like I was like, oh, why does it smell so bad? And it was just exposed crap, just a mountain of shit. I was like, oh, I swear to God, I was gagging. I was like, and then, dude, I flushed the toilet. Dude, I flushed the toilet. I'm still sitting down. The flush is so powerful, it shoots all the toilet water out of the toilet. And the whole bathroom just smells like shit. I'm like, what? I was like about to I was gay. I was like, and I was like, it was the day after the wedding, so it was all hungover. I was like, oh, God.
All you ate are like wieners and that menthol alcohol drink. It's just menthol wiener shits. Oh, God. Oh, that's.
Oh, it was so. And I didn't want to tell anybody. I was like, I'm not telling anybody. And then it happened to Claire, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to tell Claire.
Oh, no wonder your Austrian friend is never happy. Imagine he has to smell this every day.
Oh
my God.
Gross.
And he married an Indian woman, which means he's gonna be shitting weird for the rest of his life in these weird Austrian toilets. Oh, dude, that marriage is gonna last 5 years. Listen, let's make a bet. I give it 5 years. He's not. One day he's gonna make the connection. He's gonna make the connection. Every morning I hate my life. Why? Because I'm eating Indian food. Why? Because I married an Indian. How can I have a good life? Divorce the Indian woman.
Oh, it is nasty, dude. I can't believe it. Yeah, that was so gross. I felt so dirty. I came home, I showered. Oh, so nice. You come home from traveling, you just shower. You're like, oh, my life is back to normal. Yeah. You're like, God damn.
You see, like you have hair. When you don't shower or when you travel, your hair gets oily. Yeah, my head gets oily. So I just feel like, everything is so shiny. I'm like, I need a shower right away.
Like a turtle.
Yeah, like. Oh God. Hey, I want to start a new segment where I ask you advice. All right, this is a new segment where I want your
Okay.
advice on something.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So as I told you, I'm working on new jokes, and so Friday I do a show. No, Thursday I do a show,
Mhm.
and man, oh man, were those crowd? Well, that crowd was tough, bro. That crowd was so tough. I'm like, what's going on? I thought I was funny. One of my comedic heroes, I don't want to say their name, but he was at the show. You know who I'm talking about? He was at the show,
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
going last because, like, I'm
Yeah.
technically one of the best. So I was going last. I was closing the show, and then
Yeah.
he was gonna do a drop-in set after me. So he got to see me just eat. You know that mountain of shit you shit in Austria?
I
That's the
know.
shit that I ate, bro.
Dude.
I'm like, oh, I hate my. I got to bomb in front of my
That's bad.
comedic hero, bro.
Oh,
And I'm like,
my
you know when
advice
you
is to
start
kill yourself.
questioning, Yeah, you start questioning. I'm like, why am I talking so much about my penis and Jews? Like, this is too much. This is too much. I
Oh,
hate my
shit.
life. I avoided eye contact with him. It was terrible. And then he goes on stage and he's destroying. I'm like, oh God, this is, and with like new jokes that he just wrote. I'm like, oh, I hate my life.
Oh,
So, anyways, the next day,
That's
Saturday, I
crazy.
do a show. Sorry, 2 days later, Saturday, I do a show. Sorry, Friday, I do a show. Again, the crowd is tight, but still, I get a bit more laughs. I wrote a couple of new lines that worked that day. I'm like, oh, I'm so happy. Saturday, I go on stage, and dude, killed. Everybody did okay.
okay.
I go on stage and I destroy. Same material, Gabe.
hmm
Gabriel, same freaking material,
I don't know.
but for some reason I felt more loose. I felt
Mhm.
more silly. I was
Yeah.
getting big, and I was doing the same edgy material that I did on Thursday and on Friday.
Yeah.
And my question is how to deal. Why? What to do?
Well, you have told me this in the past. Around this person, you do feel a little more anxious than usual. Usually, you don't give a
Yes.
shit, but sometimes
Wow.
around this person, you feel anxious. Usually, it's like doesn't matter who it is, but this is specific person, you feel
Yeah.
you feel usually anxious around him, right? So I don't know, man. I guess maybe talk to him before. Be like, "Sup, dude? How's it going? How's?"
Dude, I tried talking to him because I know it was his birthday. So I
Yeah.
go to him and I'm so stressed. I look at him. I'm like, hey, Happy New Year.
Oh no, dude.
I'm like, sorry. Happy birthday. I'm sorry. I'm like, why am I such a loser when I'm talking to him?
Wait, oh, no, I've never seen you nervous around anybody ever.
Yeah.
You're not nervous. You're not a nervous guy.
No, I'm not. It's
I
not.
don't know,
It's
man.
not. But around like, dude, dude, I could tell he's like, ugh. Maybe I'm projecting my insecurities. You know, like the feelings I have toward myself. I'm putting them on him.
I know what you
He's
mean.
I go and he's hanging out with, and I go and I make like some gay jokes, and he's like, what? I'm like, oh, what's wrong with me? Why is it so important for him to like me? I don't know why. Maybe because like he's a big inspiration for
know.
me. So,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, even I've had like a 10-minute conversation with him one-on-one, and I'm nobody in the scene compared to you. And I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? He's like, hey, what's up, Gabriel? We're like, we have our own handshake and shit. And I'm like, what's up, man? Yo, what's up? And he's like high-fiving, man, who's the black comedian again? Victor Caesar. And shit. He's like, hey, what's good in the hood?
I'm so awkward. Like I see him. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go say hi. And in my brain, like, all right, Amber, be cool. Hey, every time it's a chance for a better first impression. Every time, like, Amber, listen, this time we'll make it good. So he goes, and of course, he walks in, and everyone goes says hi to him, and he's talking to someone, and I go on away, and I just put my hand out, like to shake his hand, but he's still
Whoa.
talking to the other guy. So I'm like, oh, it's too early. It's too early to pull my hand out. So I pull it back. Then he looks at me, and then I'm like, oh, should I put it back out? I'm like, no, no, no. Oh. And he's so friendly and
Okay.
kind. He's like, hello. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh God. Why?
Maybe
Why
be
am I not able to?
maybe be less formal around him. Try being less formal. Just be more like, hey,
tried.
what's up? Like rather, yeah.
Gabe, you don't understand. I tried
Maybe
to be
like
funny, but
yeah,
you know my sense of humor.
yeah.
It's so dark
Mm-hmm.
and like crass. And he's a classy gentleman. He's a gentleman. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, yeah. And he's like, what?
Maybe-
like,
Yeah, maybe don't try to be funny. Maybe just chill. Like maybe don't try. Just like talk about just random bullshit. Like start with small talk, and then like the next time talk the weather, and then after that like go to the news, and then after that how's your family? Then after that sneak in a joke. You know, like slowly.
it's just,
You know.
yeah, I guess I'm like, hey, maybe I should just avoid him. I should just like, hi, and then run away. And like, and just start again from the beginning. Maybe, oh, Gabe, you don't understand. He, who's like your comedic hero? Tom Green?
No. God no. I mean, maybe when I was a kid, not hero. Like I really liked him when I was a kid. He was an inspiration
So
when I was a kid because like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be nervous around Tom Green. I don't think I'd be nervous around maybe like Louis C.K. because all I hear about him that he's like super weird, so I'd be afraid to be weird around him because like apparently
Just
he gets
so
like
you know-
annoyed really easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so you know, my two biggest influences are Louis C.K.
Yeah.
and that guy. They're the two
Yeah.
people that influence me the most in terms of like my comedic style. So in talking to him, it's as if I'm hanging out with Louis C.K. and I just keep bombing, Gabe.
Yeah.
I just bomb and bomb and bomb. It's terrible. Oh God.
I don't know. But you think at this point you've probably been on like 4,000 shows together. At this point, he's like part of the scene. You know, like he's just
It's
like
just, I don't know.
yeah.
I've had that feeling with him.
Yeah.
Other people where I have this feeling, I'm able to shake it off. I'm like, no, don't have that feeling. But with him, I'm just weird. Oh God.
Well, no, I mean, how about this? Just be like, hey, that ship has sailed. I'm gonna be the new that guy.
I would like to. I mean, I learned so. And by the way, we've had a few conversations where he's helped me tremendously. Like he gave me really good advice.
Yeah.
For doing the road, for like setting up my my hour and
Yeah.
everything. He's very helpful. But the second I'm not in a, maybe I should always be in a receptive mode instead of being in a creative mode.
Yes.
To be in a receptive.
Yeah.
Have I ever told you the weird interaction I had with Bill Burr?
Not Bill Burr. No, you told me about Dave
Yeah.
Chappelle, but never Bill Burr.
Yeah. So, another one of the greats in my mind. Another one where I'm like, oh, it's Bill Burr.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, Just
Yes.
for Laughs, I think okay. Let me start again. So 10 years ago, Just for Laughs, I take the week off work. I'm like, I'm gonna go see as many shows as possible. I
Yeah.
was starting to do open mics, so I was fully immersed in like the study of comedy and how to be funny. And I'm reading books and I'm watching stand-ups. And Bill Burr, one of the greatest, one of the best storytellers ever, one of the funniest human being I have ever seen. I go see him at the Olympia in Montreal, and he's destroying. He destroyed for like an hour. He had, I think Ronnie Chang was opening for
Yeah.
him. Destroyed.
Yeah.
It was my first time seeing Bill Burr live, and I was blown away how powerful he is. Just one small guy in a huge theater, and he's making thousands of people laugh. I was blown away. I'm like, oh my God, he's so good. I go watch the Midnight Show, which is like a show where they don't announce the lineups at Theater St. Catherine. Fantastic show. I start talking to two girls there. I tell them I'm a comedian. They're like, ooh, you're funny. You're sexy. Yeah. One of them is really hot. One of them is like, so. And they're like, oh, we're staying at that hotel where everybody, we're like where all the comics stay, right? So I'm like, oh, let's walk
Okay.
together because I was gonna go in that direction. So we're all walking towards that hotel, and I feel the vibe that I'm really clicking with one of the girls. Like we're clicking very well, and her friend is like, she's enjoying the company of us, and of course, in my stupid mind, I'm like, ooh, am I gonna have a threesome? Because we're all going to their hotel together. So
Yeah, yeah.
as we arrive the hotel, I look, and who is outside just shaking hands, dabbing people? Bill Burr. He is just everybody's going to like, dude, that was so funny, blah blah blah. So I am here with two girls. In my mind, I'm like, we're gonna go up to their room. We're gonna have a threesome. Life is gonna be great. I'm living a fantasy. But then I see Bill Burr, and I'm like, I'm sorry, ladies. I need to go talk to Bill Burr. So I'm like, bye. I tell the girls bye instead of going to have a drink with him at the bar. And I go see Bill Burr. I'm like, hey, man, huge fan. You changed the way I write jokes. I just saw you at the Olympia. He's like, oh, what did you think of the show? And I'm like, oh my God, it was amazing. Like he earnestly asked me, what did you think? Like, oh, you're a student of comedy.
Yeah.
You're a comedian. You saw. What did you think? I'm like, oh my God, you were amazing. You got all these people hypnotized, laughing at your jokes. So many punchlines. Just, bleh, just spitting words out of my mouth. And he's like, oh, thank you, thank you. He's like, yeah, I'm a hack. He's just shitting on himself. Like, yeah, I'm not. It wasn't that good. I suck. These are all hacky jokes. Get out of here. Stop it. I'm like, do you have any advice? He's like, yeah, just write every day. I'm like, okay. Just always write every day, perform every day. I'm like, okay, okay. And I'm like, listen, man, I just want to say thank you again. And I'm shaking his hand, and I just squeeze a little. I'm like, ooh, let me suck in some of that funny juice out of you. And he's like, ugh. And he pulls his hand out. I'm like, oh. Why
Oh,
did I do
shit.
such a weird joke? Why did I make him feel uncomfortable? And dude, you don't understand. I do that joke. 10 seconds later, he's like, I'm getting the hell out of here. And then he goes back to the hotel and disappears.
Oh man.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
I
why
guess
do
you
I
can
keep
be around
bombing
famous
in front of
people.
my heroes? Sorry?
I guess you can be around your hero famous comedians.
I can't. Yeah, not because when they say don't meet your heroes, not because your heroes are gonna be,
Yeah.
but you're gonna be weird.
You're gonna be a
Maybe that's where the
psycho.
expression comes
Yeah,
from.
maybe.
Ugh. Gabe, that's 0 out of 3. In front of that
Wow.
guy that I told you about in Montreal, I bomb in front of my heroes. Dave Chappelle, I bomb in front of Dave Chappelle. uh, Bill Burr, I bomb in front of Bill Burr. I'm unable to act normal in front of people I look up to. That's I think how you can know
Damn.
if I look up to
That's too
someone.
bad.
If I'm like myself and I'm cool, like yeah, Amber sees him as an equal. But if I'm like I just
I think maybe you just gotta get eventually to that level, and then you could just like go grab a pizza eventually. You know, you could be like, now I can finally chill with you.
Louis, I call
and
him
wait,
Lou. Hey Lou. He's gonna
yeah,
be like, hey,
and
why are
yeah,
you dressed like
and
me?
and your other hero, Gabriel Iglesias, John Panette. Wasn't it John Panette? Your other
Uh, but I have that in me. Like if it's a big stressful show,
Yeah.
I get anxious. I forget that I'm funny. I become professional, and I just like
Mhm.
sometimes there's also like there's a guy in Ottawa who I really like, the owner of Yuck Yucks in Ottawa, the sweetest, kindest human being. Dude, I am. You know when you meet some people, you're like, man, you are an angel sent from God to help me, and I
Yeah.
like him so much. I love him. I truly love him as a person. That when he's watching the show, I'm like, oh, okay, I better bring my A game. I better
I
kill.
know.
So I'm a
Yeah,
bit more.
that I know that, dude.
I'm a bit more tense.
Yeah, you get
I'm a bit
tight.
more tense in front of him.
You're
Yeah.
like, You're like, okay, I'm gonna stick with what I know works, and you just do like 100% material, but you're hosting, and you're like, oh wait, you can't, you can't do it. You gotta be loosey
Yeah.
goosey, you know?
I can't be loosey goosey. When I did it last month, Friday he was there, and I was a bit tense. Saturday he wasn't there, dude. I was so loose and funny. I the headliner is like, damn, that was like he gave me props for being really good. He thought I thought the
Nice.
Midler was on stage. That was amazing. I'm like, I don't know. I need to get this. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's out of love.
Are you getting another
It's out of
headlining
love.
spot?
Yeah, I'm.
Are you,
I'll be in Ottawa, and I'm headlining a Sunday. Like there's a he has like a private
Mm.
show, and he asked me to headline. I'm
That's so
opening
cool.
for Derek
That's
Segan
sick.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then
Oh!
Sunday I'm headlining. Yuck yucks, bro.
That's
Yuck
sick.
yucks. Ottawa, I'm headlining it. The main stage.
That's
bro.
amazing.
Yeah. Terrified.
That's the
Fucking
craziest
terrified.
news ever. That's amazing. Yeah, if it's just you and that guy's not there, you do great. No, I'm just,
I hope he's not. I truly hope. Because he made me headline his other club, his smaller club, and I destroyed. But he wasn't there. So I just
Yeah.
hope to God he's not there. Oh, God, please. I'll be terrified. But I shouldn't feel this way. He wants me to do well. You understand? All of these people,
yeah, he likes you.
nothing would make them more happy than for me to do well. And then when I'm like, why? Why do I become weird?
You just have something you need to deal with. That's all. You just need to. Maybe you don't feel as worthy as the love they give you, and or they have an expectation that you built up in your head that you're afraid you can't meet. It's a lot of that.
Yeah. I should ask ChatGPT.
ChatGPT is just gonna like quote Frasier probably or something. It's gonna quote a fake psychiatrist.
Dude, I've been asking ChatGPT everything. So I have a friend, and I was at their house, and I noticed that a light bulb was not working.
Yeah.
And it's like a weird light bulb. Like I didn't know, like with the thing that holds it was on. I couldn't get it off. So I took a photo, sent it to ChatGPT. I'm like, ChatGPT, how do I change this light bulb? And like calculating, and they're like, oh yeah, this is probably a GU10. You need to pop the ring 1st, and then you need to twist it, not fully, just twist it a quarter,
Wow.
and then jiggle it. It gave me everything, and I'm like, okay, can you give me? I want to change that light bulb. I take a photo of the light bulb. She's like, this is the light bulb. I'm like, send me the link of Amazon, of which light bulb I need to buy. It gave me a link on Amazon Canada to buy which light bulb.
Oh, nice.
Just with a photo.
Sick.
Isn't that cool? I just took a picture.
That is-
of
yeah,
it, and
dude.
I
Yeah.
should ask like, hey,
Now
how
it
can
has
I
video.
be
You can
cool. What? Really?
you could you can go on a little chat mode and be like, "Hey, this is my sock. How do you fix it or something?" And it's like, "Oh, let me see that." And you can have a conversation with it. And then you could also share your screen with it and then go on an app and be like, "Oh, how can I phrase?" And then it'll like, yeah, you're just having one-to-one conversations with it at this point.
It's so
It's
smart.
weird.
And now
Really weird.
I'm reading Marcus Aurelius's Meditation. You know that book? And there's
Okay.
parts I read.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no idea what the hell he's saying. So I just copy it. I put it in ChatGPT, and I click on reason. I don't know if you know this. If you click on reason, it thinks. It not just blurs information.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, this is what he meant. I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
That's cool. Shit. That's really cool.
Thank you so much for listening.
I'll be back at
If you're in Montreal,
Montreal next week.
April 1st, live podcast recording. M Montreal. Gabe, stop playing with your balls. M Montreal, live podcast recording. Gabriel, myself, and possibly a special guest. So, guys, get your tickets. I'm going to put the ticket link probably this week. Live podcast recording.
Nice.
Gabriel, myself, the Good Night Podcast, and then you can stay, guys, for the comedy show. We're very excited. Are you excited, Gabe? Are you excited?
Yes. Oh, it's gonna be great. I love live pods. They're so fun.
It's,
You guys
we're
are
gonna
gonna
laugh a
love
lot.
it.
So So
Yeah.
come to the show, guys. We're gonna keep the tickets not expensive, maybe $10, so you can come and have fun. And maybe if you want, you can bring your meal. You can eat at the showroom. And yeah, guys, come and thank you so much for listening, everybody, every single person who listens. Thank you so much. Give it a like on YouTube. Give us 5 stars on Spotify.
Yeah.
Share it with your friend. Tell a friend, guys. Tell a freaking friend. We love you very much. Goodbye, everybody. I love you, Eugene.
Gabriel's ass bleach brighter than heaven. Amber's been on a watch list.